So apparently today is the day. And so I'm just asking people to keep me in prayer and pray for all of us. All of us. All. I don't know how many of us there are. There are hundreds of us. Regarding women who have been suffering gang stalking, victims of all kinds of abuse on every level, our mail being tampered with, being monitored, stalked, hacked, lied on, left homeless and broke, taken away from our children. This has been 3 years. 3 years, and I have like little bits and pieces of my story out trying to get help, and there was no help. I had no idea. I still have no idea what this, I still have no idea what all of this is about, okay? But it was shown to me that there's a lot of us, and it's a cover-up. That one of you tarot readers that I've been watching out has been tapping into a story about some kind of government program that would kidnap babies, or I don't know, some CIA stuff, and that like in the mix of us, and it happened. So God showed me a news video about a statue in Albany, General Schuyler, and there was this time capsule that was in the statue. I didn't see it. I'm just learning about all of this, okay? I've been hiding underground because I've been evading abduction for 3 years. And all of the hardship and addiction and just threats, constant death threats and voodoo black magic. Somebody's trying to sacrifice me to Satan. This has been going on for 3 years. And then there was, the day after I see this time capsule, I noticed that it was a news video, and I just joked around. I posted it because I just said something to a friend of mine. I'm like, hey, we should make a time capsule and take all these conspiracy theories and write them down and put them in the time capsule. Come back in like 20, 25 years and see how many of these, where we are in all these different conspiracy theories. And it was a joke. My friend was like, no, that sounds stupid. And it was the next day that I come across this video about the statue in Albany. And I noted that there was, I posted on my Facebook just, hey, who wants to put stuff in my time capsule? And then I watched the video again, and I'm like, wait a minute, what? I come from a line of, my grandmother put together a family tree, and all I know was that we were one of the first families that came over from Britain. We were paid off by the British King. I started like doing more looking into this when the musical Hamilton came out, because I had never seen a musical before, and my daughter was super into musicals, and we got to see Dear Evan Hansen, and she got to see her dad to see what was the Book of Mormon. I haven't seen that one. You guys see that one, but so I fell in love with this musical Hamilton. I'm like, there are some really heavy spiritual undertones here. I wonder if anybody else is picking up on these things. And I was catching. Listen, the guy that wrote this musical is like, dude, you are good, man. You are good. I'm still, there's just little things that I would miss, and I would go back and be like, what? Wait, what did he just say? Why? Can you run that by me again? And there's just some really awesome stuff going on, and it is, so I sent the family trees to my daughter and said, hey, listen, there's a letter here explaining that, like, we have, we were related to Zachary Taylor, and, the guy's explaining that we were actually, we were running up against Hamilton. We weren't not for him, But we were here for the revolution. We fought the Revolutionary War. We came from Britain, and we have a long line of military, our descendants and ancestors of military men founded this country. And so I'm watching this video, and the news video that I posted, I noticed there was some Albany officials who were receiving this time capsule, and one of them just so happened to have the same maiden name as my mother-in-law. And now I have had several. So when nobody's telling me anything, I live in a last 3 years of isolation and gaslighting, lies. I'm a crazy drug addict. But they didn't know was that I was going to college for occupational therapy to dedicate my life to standing up and advocating for and assisting people with mental health issues and addiction issues and disabilities. I had a 3.8 GPA. I was inducted into the International Honor Society. I was also abandoned by my family when I was 14. And so I spent my teenage years as a ward of the state in different group homes. And we attended several, information sessions on learning about the signs and symptoms of trafficking. Because the statistics show that very high levels of girls that grow up in the system as a ward of the state end up either in prostitution or as victims of human trafficking. So I knew what was happening to me as it was happening. And I'm also having a nervous breakdown because I'm getting a divorce. All of this started right around the time I told my husband that I wasn't coming back to him. That we were alcoholics, and there was domestic violence in the home. I had an order of protection out against him for punching me in my face. My eye was swollen shut, and the hospital had to do a CAT scan on my face in November of 2019. And they were the first call to CPS to alert them that there is domestic violence in the home. And I documented that he had choked me, that he had stuffed my mouth full of socks so that I couldn't speak or breathe, and I had sores on the inside of my mouth for like a week. He had made threats to kill himself in front of me to torture me. So I was removed from the home from my alcohol use. I was having severe instances. I was probably blacking out. Like towards the end of our marriage, I was blacking out like at least once or twice a week, and I was in really bad shape. So I told him that I wasn't going to come back. That I needed to get healthy, and I needed to quit drinking. And the industry in the restaurant business and the industry that he works in, it's just the lifestyle that that I couldn't support. Right, it was killing me. And my life turned into a twilight zone. And I became homeless. I lived 8 places in 4 months. I got Kohl's called me and said, I had to go get a COVID test. Apparently, now that I see all of this, I'm like, the whole thing was full of shit. They were trying to intimidate me and get me to lose my visits. My mother-in-law despises me and doesn't want me to have anything to do with my kids. In fact, it disowned my 2 older girls because I went to a Mother's Day tea for my youngest daughter after I hadn't seen her for a whole year. So I go, they say that the kids were exposed to COVID and one of them tested positive, so I had to go and get a COVID test. And I had 3 to 5 days where I had to wait for the results. And I get this call from the manager, hey, Kohl's is accepting your resignation. And I'm like, I'm not resigning. I can't come back. No, we're accepting your resignation. Your termination paperwork is it's in your email. And thanks. Have a good day. And I went to go retrieve that paperwork, and my password had been changed, and I had no access to the documentation. So I lost my job. They repoed my car. I haven't known what's going on this whole time. I don't know who is involved. Everybody's saying the same thing. You know, I can't tell who my friends or my enemies are. And, you know, and then I call my Uncle Jim Heckroth from Austin, Texas, several times. He works for Microsoft. So I'm like, listen, my accounts are being hacked, and I need a phone. Somebody's trying to hurt me. And he's like, well, you don't sound like you're very well. Maybe you should go to the psychiatric hospital. Call your sister. And I was like, dude, my sister has been hospitalized 40 times in 7 years. You're going to refuse me help and tell me. But at one point, my therapist, at the beginning of this, I called my therapist and I'm crying and I'm like, all of my accounts are being hacked. I don't know what's going on. My personal bank account was robbed $400, 2 separate instances of withdrawals for $200 each. I called her, I'm crying. She's like, first question is, do you feel like hurting yourself? Do you think you need to go to ECMC for a psychiatric evaluation? Like, what part of this? What? Friend takes me out for coffee. She goes in the coffee shop. Next thing you know, there's 3 police officers knocking on the side car door. We got a welfare check. Call for a welfare check. You're having a schizophrenic breakdown? Like, I don't have schizophrenia. My biological father has schizophrenia. My sister has schizophrenia. I have never been diagnosed with schizophrenia. And then I find out there's like this weird plot against, and I had been in therapy, and so they're like, you know, it's just this feeling that the whole world is against you, and I'm like, yeah, but this is some weird stuff, man. And the girl that I considered my best friend was playing my husband and I against each other, and turns out she screwed him right after she got me out of the house. Your dad was schizophrenic, so you probably got some of that too. You know I don't. It's been a couple of years, and there's a guy that used to live with my sister at my grandmother's house. They used to eat acid and have gay sex at my grandmother's house. Apparently they were cleaning out the garage and found some files, CIA stuff that I know nothing about. I don't know what this is. I don't know where this is going. I know it's a really big fucking deal. And I know that God has been, I don't know who has been protecting me for 3 years. I know that God has been with me when nobody, not one person, except the person that I grew really close to, knowing full well that I don't hold these guys, the guys that I was living with, I don't hold them ultimately responsible, okay? They got into some messed up stuff, and they knew, like, this wasn't supposed to last this long. I was supposed to be out there in like 3 months. The first attempt to abduct me occurred on March 6th of 2021. I moved in with them in like December. So time after time after time, they're like, she's still here? How does the cat came back again? How does she keep getting up here? Well, because I've been blacklisted from homeless shelters. I'm trying to get into a rehab because I'm homeless. And obviously I picked up a methamphetamine habit, trying to substitute for an Adderall prescription that I was getting from my psychiatrist. And I was like, well, I'll just switch this one out for that until I can get back to the psychiatrist. And I just switched my insurances, and they didn't accept Medicaid after I left my husband. And I have this, I was making these videos explaining that, it was a dumb fucking thing to do. I didn't realize that I was walking right into a trap. That I would become the crazy drug addict, and my credibility would be completely shot. In the meantime, my husband's got the kids at the house that we own. He's losing his ever-loving mind on cocaine, My kids are living in a house that's infested with bed bugs for 2 years. Piles of cat shit with maggots crawling all over them, and he's just throwing toys and clothes over the piles so CPS doesn't see them. Kids are calling me, asking me why there's a $398 sex doll and there's no food in the house. Things that they shouldn't have had to deal with. Department of Social Services turned a blind eye to a plate of cocaine that was left on a table with a rolled up dollar bill and a credit card, with 3 unsupervised children from the time they get home from school at 3 p.m. until he gets home from work at 12, 1 o'clock in the morning. My 16-year-old had psychiatric issues. And now I'm wondering if that wasn't left there on purpose. I hope, because she had been hospitalized like 4 or 5 times after I was gone, and I was put on restricted lists, so I wasn't allowed to talk to her or see her. And so every time she was telling me she had to go to the hospital, I'm triggered because, yeah, I was taken there against my will for being homeless and lied on, saying that I had drug-induced psychosis. And really there was a doctor and a foreign man cracking jokes about raping me. Yeah, she's going to take one for the team. It'll be real good. Sometimes you just got to take one, honey. Do it for your suffering is for everybody else. Whatever it was they were saying, I was fucking terrified. God just kept moving me from room to, like, they're like, how did you, I don't know. How'd you walk away from that hospital? I don't know. How'd you dodge all the voodoo magic shit? Death magic? I don't know anything about this stuff. I was a born-again Christian for 14 years. Good that did me. Certainly didn't prepare me for anything I endured. Except taught me how to love and forgive. How to look for God, how to cling to God. How to not turn away from God. God said, you know what? Yeah, you're using some drugs. That's a problem. It's a problem for a number of reasons, but that's not a priority right now. So if you get in my presence, you get in my presence. You got to bring that meth pipe with you while you sit there and watch your sermon. You get in my presence, because I'm the only one that can help you and heal you to get out of this mess. And I've kept it quiet. A lot of it I kept quiet. I've been suffering, and nobody cares anyway, you know. Letting out little bits of my story here and there, but something happened when I saw the statue. I started putting pieces together. And the very day after I see the statue, there's a video of President Biden making a comment, "God save the Queen," and the response, I saw that. Now I'm like, oh my God. The response, the immediate attacks against him to make him look like he's a crazy person. Everybody's already compromising his credibility. Oh, he's just going crazy. Blah, 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 blah. No, they really hit hard. And I was like, God, I saw that. I see exactly what you are showing me. There's a couple of stories, 2 stories in the Bible, Moses and Jesus. See, when Jesus, they knew that he was born. They knew that he was here somewhere. They didn't know where he was or who he was. So King Herod ordered all of the children in the land that were 2 years old and under, kill them all of them, and we'll knock him out. Whichever one he is, we'll knock them all out. God's like, that's what they're doing here. That's what they're doing to him, to Biden, to our president. This is the president of our nation. We are the free world. And the president made a comment out of love and respect. Somebody says he knows something. Somebody didn't want to know, or didn't want us to find out. God's like, send them a message. You see, the thing is that this entire time, I was like, if you guys would have just left me alone, I wouldn't have kept digging. You would have just stopped hacking me, stopped, changing my address so I can't get my bank statements and my money. If you guys would just stop stalking me, I would have just went back on and lived my life. No. We gotta take her out. So every time there was an attempt on my life, God would be like, here, I'm gonna show you this. I want you to take that back to them. This is to remind them that you belong to Christ. They don't have the right to sell you. You're not for sale. And if they continue, you continue. And I'm like, you know what? Fuck this. Yeah. I'm on board with this. Because I'm getting threatening messages saying, you owe and you know too much. I don't owe you anything. That's somebody else's debt. Whoever thought that they had the power to put me on a chopping block, to have me sacrificed or have me sold, they're under some false pretenses that they have any power or authority over another human being. You don't own me. I belong to Christ. God's just like, just remind them who you belong to. And they just keep coming back. They just keep coming back. It was never my debt. But you pissed God off, making the president look like a fool. The Bible specifically says that the people who are governing and authoritative over us are placed there by God. And yeah, they make you think you have a vote. Yeah, it's red or blue and you get to vote and that matters. No, it don't. It's a two-headed snake to make you feel empowered, to make you feel like you have a voice, to make you feel like you're a part of this democracy. Now what you have done is slandered a man who's done nothing wrong. And so God just like, you know what? Throw him everything you got. Everything. The truth. It's time to expose this. It's time to expose this. I have no idea what's about to come out. I have no idea about what we're about to find out, about who we are, where we came from, who our real families are. Why the hell I'm getting shocked with a sonar frequency through a cell phone in a kitchen in Riverside? In a residential area? Because I'm yelling at, I'm making this connection between my uncle that works for Microsoft, refusing to help me. I make a comment about, I wonder where your investments lie. I'm yelling at him. And as I'm yelling at him, this frequency comes through the phone. It's a really, really low pitch. And my body went into shock. I've never seen or experienced anything like this. My entire body went into shock and I collapsed on the kitchen floor. I have a video that was noted from like November of, was it 2021? I was like, I got that message loud and clear. That was around the time I got sick and I was in the hospital. It was a long, drawn-out thing. I went 3 different times and was turned away from the emergency room. Turned away till they had gastritis. So it's been 2 months and I go to immediate care. And the doctor actually runs an x-ray. He's like, I am calling. He's like, you are inactive. Your heart is failing. You're dying right now. You're in heart failure. I'm getting you a an emergency ride to the hospital. You're being admitted for heart failure. I'm 40 years old. Yes, I was doing drugs. And the doctor's like, that wouldn't have caused this. Like, it sure didn't help. You know, it doesn't help that you smoke, that you drink, that, like, extreme duress. Possibly COVID was leaving some people some crazy symptoms, but I never got vaccinated. And they also tell me that not only my heart I'm in congestive heart failure, but my kidneys and my lungs are damaged as well. So yes, I have some lifestyle things that were not, you know, great. But they ran test after test after test after test. They said, we can see that your heart is failing. We can't tell what's causing this. We don't know what the cause of this is. I'll tell you when it started. Our rights have been violated severely and are being. Some of us have been sitting like this. Some of you guys have been sitting like this for longer than me. And I've been sitting like, that's been 3 years. So please just lift each other up. Let's help each other through this, okay? You guys have been all of you. Listen, my online, my YouTube communities, I don't even watch tarot. I never watched tarot before this. All of a sudden, I'm being led to watch these videos and they're warning me of incoming attacks. Helping to save my life. Helping me put pieces together. About stuff about occult shit that I don't know anything about. I gotta go, God's like, here, this girl knows she's got some knowledge in this. You listen to what she's saying. I'm like, I don't understand any of that, but okay. Somebody done fucked up somewhere and did some black magic voodoo shit, calling upon plot twist. Oh my God, are you kidding me right now? God's like, yeah, watch this. Watch this is gonna get real good. Somebody went and did some black magic voodoo shit, calling on some dark gods and goddesses that are your ancestors. They're calling your own family to come take you out. And your family on the other side is pissed. You're like, no way, dude. Something about setting our descendants, our ancestors free. Something about healing trauma. The healing done from trauma heals your family, your bloodline, 7 generations forward and 7 generations backwards. I know a little bit about that, but what? What? Yeah. I might find out that this was never my family to begin with. I might be one of those people that I would sit around like, can you imagine being a grown-ass woman, finding out that those are not your parents? Or that you were adopted? Can you imagine how crazy and how traumatic that would be? And now I'm sitting here like, oh my God. Why did my family they despised me? And my family hated me. All I know, apparently they've got a hand in trying to sacrifice me to some satanic cult. So God is saying, God is very, very offended by what is happening to our president. Doesn't matter if you like him or not. Doesn't matter if you agree with his policies or not. God cares about justice and righteousness. And this is the leader of our country who deserves our respect. You know who else deserves our respect? Every single serviceman or woman that has served our military, they deserve our respect. They were the ones on the front lines anyway. Tells an 18-year-old kid with no legs that you're going to disrespect our president because you're doing some awful shit. You're going to disrespect our country because you're doing some awful shit. And you're going to fly a flag out in your front yard acting like you're a grand old citizen. Let me tell you, you cannot honor our country and say, because we stand for freedom. So if you support any kind of slavery, you don't deserve to fly a flag on your front yard. Not at all. Because you are a liar and a thief. Spitting on the country that gave you everything you have. And then to turn around and demonize our brothers and sisters, our Muslim brothers and sisters. Now, I don't know. Listen, I don't know very much about Islam at all. All I know is I learned in seminary that Ishmael was promised to be a great nation because of some serious disregard for his mother, Hagar. And somebody done fucked up and tried to cover it up by eliminating her and throwing her away and making her look like a fool. God said, I'm going to honor her. I'm going to find her in the desert where she's crying with her starving child. And I'm going to tell her I love her. And I'm going to tell her that I see what just happened to you. Because in a patriarchal society, the firstborn is supposed to get the birthrights. Doesn't matter who the mother was. And it was redeemed, and God loved everybody. Enough to say, hey, Ishmael, you got robbed royally. I'm going to make you a great nation. So we're going to take some evil shit that the American government had a hand in doing, and we're going to blame it on the Middle East. We're going to blame it on the Muslims. We're going to demonize them. Knowing that the Christian churches, the Catholic churches that are running sex trafficking rings, stealing babies, abusing children to groom them to become traffickers. God is not letting that fly. Are you kidding me? He just showed me a video that I posted regarding justice and righteousness. And all of a sudden, it hit me why these pastors, I called out to them several times for help and they did not respond. God made it clear as day. You will find the devil in church. There's a whole bunch of demons running around. Ha ha, they think we're you, God. Your people think that we are you. They can't tell the difference. They don't know the difference. Jesus did when he was calling out the Sadducees and he was flipping tables. Jesus knew what was going on. Some demonic shit. God is not going to let the innocent suffer. And he is certainly not going to let the President of the United States of America be made a fool and be mocked and be trashed at the hands of wickedness. We are at war. In the spirit, we are at war today, now. Like this is all connected. It's all connected. Help each other out. Spread some love, say some prayers. We are in this together. We are on the front lines, ladies and gentlemen. God said that was the last straw for this particular issue. I'm 40 years old. And I'm about to find out that I don't even know. But we are loved. We are loved by the heavens. There are brigades of angels out on the streets. We can't see them with our eyes, okay? You gotta look with the eyes of your heart. They're out there. This shit is scary for me right now. I've watched God cover me for 3 years now. And he's not joking. He is not playing around. I love you all. God bless, and I'll see you on the other side of this. Not the other side of the veil. I will see you on the other side of this success and this victory, because it is ours. It's in our hands. We have already won. Praise be to God. God bless the United States of America.